Tonight, we dive deep into one of the most emotionally charged and strategically revealing games of the Dallas Cowboys 2025 season, a 33-16 domination of the Las Vegas Raiders. This wasn't just a football game. It was a response to adversity, a tribute to a fallen teammate, a debut platform for new stars, and a reminder that when this Cowboys team plays focused, connected, and disciplined football, they can overwhelm almost anyone in the NFL. Over the next 2 hours, we will break down every quarter, every adjustment, every standout performance, and the emotional weight behind the team's motivation, all while examining the tactical wrinkles that made this win possible. The Cowboys entered this matchup coming out of a painful bye week, mourning Marshawn Kneyland while also facing the harsh reality of a 3-5-1 record. Expectations were mixed, criticism had been loud, and pressure on Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer, and the retooled defense was reaching its highest point. But instead of folding, Dallas responded with energy. They responded with urgency. And most importantly, they responded with purpose. Everything we're about to analyze starts with that sense of purpose, because the moment the Cowboys stepped onto the field, the emotional tone was unmistakable. This game was personal. Before kickoff, the Cowboys were already surrounded by storylines. 2 trade deadline additions, Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, were set to make their long-awaited Dallas debuts. 2 safeties, Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson, were officially healthy and cleared. And 2 defensive players who had missed extended time, DeMarvion Overshown and rookie corner Siobhan Revel, finally returned from their knee injuries. On paper, this was the freshest, deepest, and most balanced defensive rotation Dallas had fielded all season. But the biggest pre-game shock came from the offense. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were benched for the first offensive series after a coach's disciplinary decision. Schottenheimer wanted to send a message, and he did. The Cowboys still stumbled early, but the discipline paid off later, igniting the most efficient defensive performance in weeks. This is where our deep dive begins, with all eyes on how the Cowboys would respond to adversity, and how they would shape the tone of this game. The opening quarter was shaky and unpredictable. Dak Prescott stepped onto the field missing his top 2 receivers due to discipline. Dallas had no rhythm, no spacing, and no clear passing identity on the opening possession. Then came the critical moment. Max Crosby blew past the offensive line, sacked Prescott, and forced a fumble that Tonka Hemingway recovered deep in Dallas territory. Cowboys fans held their breath. This was the exact script they feared. Early mistake. Momentum swing. Defense under immediate pressure. But this is where the new-look Cowboys defense showed its early value. Despite the turnover and the short field, Quinnen Williams and the Dallas interior shut down every run concept the Raiders attempted. On 3rd down, the coverage held strong, and Las Vegas settled for a 35-yard field goal. The Cowboys walked away bruised, but not broken. Once CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens returned to the field, the offense began to breathe again. Prescott connected with Pickens for 12 yards, found Hunter Luepke for a powerful 15-yard gain, and created enough momentum to set up Brandon Aubrey for a booming 50-yard field goal. Aubrey's consistency would be a theme all night, and this first make settled Dallas down. But the Raiders answered with another long field goal drive, ending the first quarter with a 6-3 advantage. Dallas wasn't in complete control yet. But the storm was forming, and the second quarter would unleash it. This quarter wasn't just a turning point, it was an explosion. Dallas delivered 21 unanswered points in what became the most dominant 15-minute stretch of their season. The breakthrough came early. Dak Prescott began to carve up the Raiders' secondary with surgical precision. Back-to-back completions to Pickens, 34 yards worth, forced Las Vegas to back off their aggressive single-high coverages. That adjustment created a perfect seam for Prescott to hit CeeDee Lamb on a crossing route for the Cowboys' first touchdown of the game. Lamb, who started the night disciplined, now became part of the spark that turned the entire offense electric. The next offensive drive was even more impressive. It consumed nearly 7 minutes, stretched over 12 plays, and showcased how Prescott distributes the ball when he's calm and protected. Jake Ferguson capped the drive with a gritty red zone touchdown on 4th and 1, a gutsy decision from Schottenheimer, and a statement that Dallas was ready to play aggressive football again. Then came the moment that flipped the emotional momentum permanently: Marquise Bell's interception. Smith's throw hit Brock Bowers' hands, but the tip floated perfectly into Bell's grasp. His 24-yard return fired up the entire sideline. 4 plays later, Pickens delivered a highlight touchdown, pivoting outside, cutting inside, and gliding into the end zone untouched. Aubrey drilled the long extra point, and suddenly Dallas led 21-6. Las Vegas managed a late field goal, but Dallas walked into halftime with a commanding 24-9 lead, complete control, and a playbook that was only expanding. The second half began with a defensive statement. Dallas forced a 3-and-out immediately, smothering the Raiders' run game and collapsing the pocket around Geno Smith. Quinnen Williams showed exactly why Dallas traded for him: powerful bull rushes, double-team splits, and a relentless motor that created opportunities for the rest. When the offense returned, Prescott engineered another long, methodical drive, 80 yards over 12 plays, taking more than 7 minutes off the clock. This was championship football, controlling tempo, eliminating mistakes, and wearing down an exhausted Raiders defense. Pickens proved unstoppable again with 2 explosive routes totaling nearly 40 yards, including a physical sideline run that woke up the crowd. But the finishing touch came from Ryan Flournoy, who secured a 2-yard touchdown that stretched the lead to 31-9. For the first time all season, Dallas felt like a fully synchronized team: offense, defense, and special teams all in harmony. The Raiders didn't roll over. Their opening fourth-quarter possession was their most determined of the night. Geno Smith scrambled on a crucial 4th and 4, and then found Trey Tucker on a screen pass for a touchdown. Las Vegas cut the lead to 31-16 and hoped to steal momentum. Dallas stumbled on their next drive and had to punt, but that mistake actually sealed the game. Brian Anger pinned the Raiders at the 2-yard line, and 2 plays later, Donovan Eziraku and Sam Williams blew up a run in the end zone for a safety. That defensive moment was the knockout punch. Pickens then secured the onside kick attempt because George Pickens does George Pickens things. Dallas drove again, chewed clock, and only failed to score because a pass bounced off Lamb's hands on 4th and 1. But the game was long over. The Raiders failed their own 4th down, and Prescott kneeled the game out. This wasn't just a win, it was a blueprint. Dak Prescott returned to elite form. 268 yards, 4 touchdowns, nearly 76% completion, and a 138.6 rating. George Pickens looked like a franchise-changing WR1. 144 yards and a score, dominating every coverage look. CeeDee Lamb added a touchdown and key intermediate plays. Javonte Williams delivered his most physical. But the defense stole the headlines. Quinnen Williams was a wrecking ball. Logan Wilson brought veteran stability. Marquise Bell delivered the game's biggest defensive turnover. The returning defenders added speed and energy that transformed the unit. Dallas won every statistical battle. More yards. More physicality. Better red zone efficiency. More time of possession. Fewer mistakes. Stronger second-half execution. This was the formula fans have been begging for.